Welcome, everyone, precious listeners. It is the StarFinder game, the Fragments of Eternity. This intro is weirder than all of our other intros, so let's just go with it. We have the 14th of January today. It is the year 2019. Cleopatra is almost upon us, and that's an old sci-fi reference, but never mind. And yeah, here we are. I'm Ryan, the GM. I'm loaded with a cold. Apologies for all the nasal noises. And here are the players.
Hi, I am a player.
Hi. Wow. True facts today.
I'm Olka, and I'm here, and I play the Lashunta pilot called Emmelyn.
Yes.
I apologize.
For nothing.
I'm crying.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hi there.
I'm Nico. I play Zora, the vest captain.
Hi. I'm Alex, and I play Nix5, the android mechanic, and it's going to be one of those sessions.
It's always one of those sessions.
You would offer it to me freely.
We don't own that.
I do.
well.
I don't. I'm lying. I am Colin, and also in this fictional setting, which we are doing our game in. Oh, that was elegant. That was perfect English. 10 out of 10. You can really see that degree showing through. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I play Lyko Quint. He is sort of undead a bit. I mean, he is undead, but shit undead. Not the cool kind where you get all the benefits of being human but don't have to eat. The shit kind where you get all the downsides of being undead, and then you also have to, basically still be a human. Anyway, life sucks. And sort of a road.
Oh wow.
There you go. That's the world, my friends, is a vampire.
Wow.
Oh
That sounds like you're addressing the world. The world, my friends are vampires.
G'day! I'm Calum. I'll be playing
Calum,
everyone's
just start
favorite
again.
and presumably
Just start
least
again.
I'm sorry. Hi there. I will be playing Zigg, and I will also be Calum.
Calum ASMR.
Let's try that
Oh,
again.
we're broken.
No, let's not try that again. You know who I am.
Yeah, if you've
So
listened
if
to
you
this
don't know
far,
who I am, rewatch all of. the
yeah, go back
fragments.
to the start and start again.
Does anyone speak French?
No.
Je suis écossais. That's about it. Oui.
No,
Other noises are available.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? C'est ça?
C'est toi.
But also, no, stay the hell away from my room, please.
Sister. Sister. Gotta get that dough, sister.
Well, welcome to
Oh yes.
the pre-game, which I feel really does every time we do this need a pre-game to explain
Yes.
what happened to
Yes,
put us
the
in this
prepregamy,
mood.
we've discussed this.
The pre-pregame. No, I think we discussed how that should never be its name. I think I'm just going to put in my notes that instead of writing pre-game and tick, I'm just going to put pre-game and regret. Question mark, and we'll see how that goes.
Pre-game or die trying.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Yep. Nearly just wrote chapter 4 there on my notes. Wow, I'm ahead of myself. Just bitten chapter 3 already.
It's done. It's not getting any better than this.
Yep. Yeah. How's everyone's week been? And by that I mean since Wednesday when we all last
Yes.
spoke.
It's been 1 week since. No, it's not. It's been less than 1 week, and I'll tell you how it's been.
It's been less than 1 week since.
And I'll tell you when it's my turn. Is when I'll tell you, because let's do it in an orderly fashion.
Okay, you start.
Wow.
Yeah, do you want to start, Colin?
You start.
That's not orderly. That's chaos. I'm in the middle of the pack. Why am I starting?
It's animal.
Work in the center.
Also,
Work in the eye.
you know I'm going to talk the longest anyway. So is that really a risk you're willing to take?
Yeah, let's just
putting
go
me
for
at
it.
the
Let's
front?
just start here.
Oh, this feels
I mean,
like
mine's is
opening
always
with
brief.
the main
I
act.
mean, it's all good.
But okay.
I'm going to time these all out. I'll cut
Oh,
these off
wow.
after a minute, right? So, go now.
Yeah, time. So, what did I do? Various things. Worked. Work was good. Worked with a curator from where the fuck was she from? Cornwall, I think. Cornwall. Anyway, who was curating one of the co-curators of an exhibition that's showing at my work, which is going to be really exciting and different from what we usually do. And work was more interesting than usual because we had things to actually fucking do, and it was nice working with her in particular, which I really enjoyed, because quite often work is just sitting around and then dealing with things as they arrive, but there's nothing to talk to. No one, rather, because nothing to talk to is a weird way to express that sentiment.
And fun
And so it was
minigame
lovely
for
to
those at
actually
home.
have some
Just-
humans to communicate with. Like, teamwork is nice, admittedly. Teamwork with some of the people in my fucking team is... But yeah, it was good. It was good. Actually, work felt like a team environment for a change.
That's
It
your
was nice
minute up,
to
by
hang
the
out
way,
with a
just
new
so
person.
you know.
I am the minute. Don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so that was lovely. Went to wrestling last night. That was lovely. I see dub. Anyway,
I see dub people.
other than that, fairly uneventful week, but good. Work was good for a change.
Good.
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 Next!
Good.
Right, so what I was saying there is fun minigame for those at home listening. Colin, I believe, is the first person to swear on the stream every single time. So
Almost certainly, yes.
I think so. I think you're the first.
Really?
not- I think maybe
Really?
once I did.
He beats me.
You
So-
would be surprised.
Again,
People forget.
fun minigame.
Because I'm sort of at times a bit. I don't know if my manner suggests to people that I wouldn't necessarily be a sweary person.
Imagine
but
even the
if you'd, like,
sessions where you were late.
If we were keeping count, I'm really, really foul-mouthed.
I'm very sweary. I'm actually very
You are
surprised.
quite, yeah.
I'm very surprised. Like, very.
Viewers at home,
Yeah, you can.
you know what to do.
Yep, just feel free to keep it a wee tally.
And viewers outdoors.
At home
I
or
probably
abroad.
swear a lot at the moment, to be honest with you. But I swear when I get passionate, you know. I don't casually swear.
Wow. So anytime you've never
That's-
swore, I just feel like you're impassioned towards me. Thanks, man.
I'm all that's total lie. I swear all the time. I swear totally casual.
But on that note, Nico, your minute starts now. Go.
Well, I don't need a minute because I literally I've done nothing besides play some games and work one shift since we last spoke.
Okay. How's Atlas going?
Atlas is fun. We've took over an island. It's great.
Nice.
It's always good. I had to chase off a bunch of people because they kept on attacking us. It's funny because we started off like humble beginnings, where like we took this tiny wee place and we were fine with it, and then they just kept on attacking us and they forced us to take the whole island.
Forced you to take the whole island.
Pretty
Yarr.
much did. It's like they had the whole island and there was nothing we could do other than get attacked every day. So just like, let's just take the island. And we did.
Oh well.
I'm done.
I was going to say,
That's
we still got 6 seconds.
How are you?
Yep, right, that's your minute up. So let's go for Olka.
Oh,
Oh.
hello.
Yep, carry on. I'll be back in a second.
Oh, okay.
Well, you
Fine.
can't just leave when somebody's about to tell you about
I mean, I'm
know.
still here, guys. Carry on.
the 4 days have been.
Okay. So I had work, then it was the weekend, and now I have work again. Out of the interesting things that happened, I am working my way through the top 250 movies of IMDb,
Oh,
and
Okay.
I watched Gladiator. Well, me and Alex watched Gladiator, and we also watched Full Metal Jacket yesterday.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
a good film. that I've
Excellent.
watched in a very long time.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
either of those
They're
in a really
both-
long time.
They're both good films, and I've been working my way through it. I have seen 79 films out of 250 now.
It's not
One
bad.
ahead.
What
Yeah,
what else have we seen?
that's
Have we
one
seen
ahead.
any what's on that list? I'm trying to think of a no, but I feel like
Well, I watched American Beauty.
Can you link the list in our chat, actually, and in that way I can peruse it later?
Shawshank's got to be on it, surely. It's got to be.
I would
It's
just
got to
say
be.
There's an updated
American
list.
Beauty though. That was not a
for
film that many
250.
people.
I quite liked Shawshank
Well,
Redemption,
it's well
actually, to be honest.
reviewed.
I enjoyed Shawshank Redemption, but
It was
Yeah.
exactly what I
was-
thought it was
yeah.
going to be when I watched it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, I watched it and went,
It
this...
was really good.
Yeah, like, it was good, it was powerful, it was sad.
There's the updated list for this year.
Perfect.
We'll be pleased to
All
see
right,
that
let's see.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is on it.
I've yet
Yeah.
to see that, but maybe
Yeah,
doing
same.
so in the next few days.
Not
I-
so
I
I'd
really
like to
want
know.
to see. I still haven't seen it, but
Yeah, I'd like to see it too.
obviously because I live in the arse end of nowhere.
Mhm.
What do you know?
I've never
Blood.
finished any of the Godfather films.
I was waiting for you. I've never finished a film in my life.
Never. I don't even. I have never heard of a film. Yeah, seeing a number of entries here that I actually dislike, a number I really like.
I'm going to peruse that list later anyway. Who's next? Anyway.
God.
I wasn't finished.
Oh wow!
What you mean is I'm still next.
It's still me. No, I was just gonna say that. So I told people at work that I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Because there's not that much to talk about
They all
at
call
work
you a
other than
nerd.
work. Well, first of all, yes, because I have a
Wow.
spreadsheet.
And
Oh, we
Yeah,
have a
no, they were
spreadsheet.
right.
And then my boss goes like, "Oh, clearly you have too much time on your hands because you've not got any kids." And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's great. And then every time they like all of my most of my coworkers have kids, but whenever they talk about kids, it's like putting me off a lot. Like every single day, it's like, oh, my baby wouldn't sleep till 2, and he woke up at 5 and started crying, and it's like that sounds horrible. Let's not do that ever. So I don't know how they do it, but I'm enjoying the opportunity to watch lots of movies.
I think what we really mean by this is thank you to all our parents for suffering, quite frankly.
Yep,
Rather used than me. So,
yep. They did a good
Thanks,
job.
Mom. Even though I was
Yeah.
an angel.
Apologies that the line is not going to get continued, Mum.
the line ends here. It goes
Yeah,
no further.
I am the last of my name.
Oh well.
It is the end. On that note, that's me. That's me done.
What you should do as well is you should then, just as a shameless plug here, everyone at home listening and abroad, like and subscribe, smash that like button, etc., etc., ring the bell, blah blah blah. Hello, Nick,
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
And my entourage.
and Tom, and Becca, and etc. And
Yeah,
the
Ryan
rest.
knows.
Yeah, the rest
Comment below. What is your favourite movie of these films?
from the list we haven't linked to you guys. But yeah,
I mean, we've told them what it is. It's easy to find.
yep. And
I don't think any of my favourite films are actually on this list. There's a lot of films I like a lot, but none of my absolute.
What's your favourite film?
Probably Mulholland Drive,
I think that's on it, isn't it?
isn't it? Is it?
I've
I
never
haven't
seen
spotted it. I've been looking
never
through.
seen it.
Let me have a look. I've got a
Excellent.
searchable spreadsheet version of it here somewhere.
Of course.
Honestly, the two of you are just so.
Olka, that's what I was going to say though. You should get everyone at your work to listen and subscribe. Or just
I think
say
So
they
they
will.
can hear you
Don't
talk about
do
why they
that.
should have kids.
That's terrible.
Or just tell them to do it. Just tell them to subscribe so they know they've done something visible. They don't really need to listen because as long as they hit play for 30 seconds or more, solid.
Just say
I
like and
definitely
subscribe
have.
without context.
I definitely have 70 co-workers, so we can get up to
There
that.
we go.
100.
Sorted. Right.
Excellent. Great.
And then
Maybe I could get the kids to listen. Oh my god, no.
Yes.
That is the worst idea you've ever
To
come
be
up
fair
with.
though,
Literally the worst thing.
if they were all willing to like, subscribe, and share, we could do a pre-game just going through the list of them, shouting their names out. Then they could feel space famous.
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 I'm willing.
Yes,
I'm willing
yes, I
to.
like
I'm
this.
willing to sell out for like episode 15. So
I am not above any of this.
Yeah.
Just so we all know.
Mulholland Drive is not on our list. I've added it to our auxiliary list.
Excellent. It's
Thank
an
you.
excellent film.
Alex, do you want to go next?
Yes, certainly. So, as Olga mentioned, we watched films. It was good.
Don't you jump in
Um,
for pre-game?
I know.
Have your own?
Okay, on my own. I was going to talk about the saga of my jeans that has taken 3 Amazon delivery attempts, and now there's 4 pairs of jeans
How
scattered
big are
across
the
Edinburgh.
jeans?
Yeah. There are an assortment of jeans across Edinburgh with my name on them that I'm
Oh.
trying to return. And
Brave man,
Yeah,
going for the
that's
personalised
me.
jeans.
I know, right? It's terrible. So yeah, that's a thing in my life. Tomorrow I've got a 7-hour meeting put in my calendar.
Oh fuck.
So that was a nice way to A nice thing to learn about on a
Taxes.
Monday morning.
A 7-hour meeting.
Yeah.
Is that just roleplay? Like,
It will be by the time I'm done.
yeah.
I mean, it's spreadsheets, and that's close enough.
I feel
Um,
like literally anything would be preferable to that. Oh, sorry, I can't. I've shot myself.
I'm taking notes here.
I've hacked my arms off.
I was gonna have a
Don't
bleach
ask me how.
smoothie. Like what? Yeah. Like.
So yeah, that's my life, and I think it's another 7 hours on Thursday.
Wow.
So, can we go back to the genes? Because I don't
Yeah.
actually know what happened. What's the outcome?
I am returning them because
What is the story? Talk us through it.
Just what?
so I bought a couple of pairs of jeans on Amazon. They got delivered while I was away. They got delivered to a random person in my apartment block, who I then couldn't get hold of. You trying to knock on their door, etc.
Did you pretend to be a delivery man? That seems to be the way in.
Yeah, no, I've since managed to get hold of them, and they've suggested I've got a very quiet knock,
Wow.
which is my favourite excuse. I'm sure they won't listen to this.
That's on you, man. I mean, that could be another subscriber.
And if they do listen to this,
Give me my jeans.
we know
No,
what you're up to.
No, I've got my jeans now. I also got double jeans because between them finally giving them to me and me actually ordering them, that's the wrong way around. Temporal. I phoned up Amazon to say I don't have any jeans. They've gone to someone else, so they sent me more jeans. And
Are they
one-
good jeans though? Like, are they comfy?
No,
Wow.
no, I'll get to that. So they tried to deliver them on Saturday. They sent one of them. So I ordered 2 jeans on Saturday. They sent them in 2 separate orders. One using Amazon and one using Royal Mail. The Amazon one managed to go through my post box. The Royal Mail one couldn't, and has been put in the depot. That's an hour walk away. But the one that did come through today, I tried on and discovered that the description was wrong, and they're these ripped knee jeans, which probably aren't appropriate for my job. They're also skinny jeans that are quite uncomfortable, I think. So nothing like the pictures, which showed just plain black jeans. So now I have to trek across Edinburgh to pick up the jeans from the Royal Mail to immediately post them back.
Wow.
And now I've got 3 pairs of jeans here and 1 pair at the depot, and I don't want any of them.
Should have got the jeans I got Calum to buy.
They're ripped as well, though.
But how comfy are they though?
They're pretty
They're
damn
quite
comfy,
cute
to
as
be honest.
well. Like,
See,
they're nice.
And they're a nice colour. They're like the right shade of grey. It's
Yeah,
great.
like I mean, it took us a wee while to find them, but we got there.
See, that's
In
what I'm
fairness,
not-
if you were with anyone else, that would have been a really easy shopping trip.
No, I mean it was standard.
I don't shop well.
See, I'm not opposed to like the ripped jeans or the skinny jeans or anything, but it's just that they were supposed to be work trousers, and the pictures lied to me. Amazon lied.
Yeah.
See, this is why you just go to a shop and actually try them on.
That's
Fuck
where the
that.
people are.
Yeah.
They're trying
No,
things on. I try and avoid it if I can.
And usually the measurements are perfectly fine. And if they were slim, like they said, and not skinny.
I think it
Then
depends
the
on the
measurements would be
situation as
ideal.
well, because you can definitely go out and enjoy clothes shopping if you're with the right people, the right attitude. And
Yeah, under the right sir.
Yeah, but
So-
like I definitely agree. In general, I loathe it so much. See, well, obviously when me, Colin, and Calum randomly ended up clothes shopping, that
Other
was fun
people are good.
because I just got to be there and point at nice clothes, and then Calum picked it all up and went into a room and tried it all on.
So all the fans look forward to our shopping episode.
Yeah.
When these guys take me out to buy jeans.
I have a Patreon,
Yay.
everyone. If you want to fund that shopping trip, we will.
'Cause-
We'll film it. So
I donated $100 with. I didn't actually, but I almost did.
Almost.
So yeah, that is my jean saga. In other news, somebody's setting up a speaker station in the Namibian desert to play Toto's Africa.
that's
Okay.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Just thought you want to know.
So I think an important question about that is why.
is it though, or is it just who's next
Oh,
on the old list of
Yes.
pregame?
Zigg.
It's me.
Mario.
Well, I had a bit of an ordeal this evening.
Really?
My entire
Tell us.
leaving from work. My entire process from leaving the door at work, from that point on, everything just went downhill. So I got onto the bus because I was getting the bus, and
So far,
I didn't
so
have
good.
much. Yeah, so I didn't have money, so I had a lot of 5p's.
So far,
And apparently he doesn't like that. So I go in and I go, right, I've got a bunch of these 5p's, but I've taped them up into 50p segments for you, mate.
Oh my god.
So, so we don't have to deal the whole thing. And then he just went nuts at me, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't be doing that. You're not supposed to pay more than 160 in 5 pences or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, good, because I've only got 150 of 5p's." And I gave him the rest in 50p's, and he went absolutely nuts. He's like, "I'm gonna be fucking counting this till fucking Friday, man. You're the worst.
Also,
Get
that's really
off my-"
slow counting if that's true. Like,
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that's true under Scots law.
Oh no, it's not against the law. He was just saying you're not supposed to.
Oh, okay. Then
I feel like that's
Take
just
my money.
He's got no legal
Yeah.
ground to stand on.
Yeah, it's just lies in that case, isn't it?
He was just pissed off at me because it was dark and I gave him a bunch of 5p's wrapped up in electrical tape and 50p chunks.
because I think it's the sort of thing that there are laws on it in England, but in Scotland, where just pay.
We
don't
want
care
the
about.
money, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So he was very angry and mean, and I was very upset. So
We
I
don't
went to
like
the
it.
very back of the bus, spent the whole bus journey going, "Oh man, I'm miserable. Oh, that guy was just the worst." Ugh.
Little did Calum know his night was in for another twist.
So I get off the bus. I walk to the supermarket. I grab myself some super noodles because I'm in a bad mood. So I want to eat some super noodles because that's what I do when I'm in a bad mood.
To feel super.
To feel super. And then I walked into one of the hotels, and someone I knew was behind the bar, and I was like, "Hey!" They're like, "Hey!" And they gave me a free coffee, which was lovely. And then I went home to find I left my flat keys at work. So I stood outside with my super noodles and a frozen pizza. I rang the doorbell. No one was in. I was like, "Shit." So I went, sat in my car, and sat there. And waited for somebody to arrive.
I love
And it
those,
was,
if
um,
you had to go all the way back on the bus for the same driver.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay.
I would
How
have
do we send you
died.
more? How do we send you more 5p's?
Wait,
Because
the,
I've got a lot
the
saved up.
post. There you go. Like
Yeah.
that
I'm
arcade
doing nothing.
institute.
I'm doing nothing with Royal Mail. No.
Ah, it's too
Not
blatant.
again.
I mean, the problem is you then have to default to couriers, right? Or you have to do some kind of montage training a series of pigeons. So it's really on you, man.
Filthy, rotten couriers.
All I want to do is give Zigg more 5p's.
That's
More
fine.
5p's. Yeah, because I've used up all my 5p's now on that bus journey. I don't know if it's the 5p's that annoyed him or the fact I electrical taped them up. Into little
That
chunks.
probably didn't help.
I'm just enjoying the verb you're trying to coin here, no pun intended.
I feel like that's
yeah.
probably a misstep.
I think we've solved the issue.
Yeah.
Nonsense. But no, because the first one, I undid the tape for the first one and was like, "Here," and then poured the pile into his hands, and he seemed really displeased with that. So I went, "Well, I'll just leave these ones in the tape then, because they're the same size." And I went through and I counted them for him. I went 5, 10, 15, 20 up to 50. And I was like, "They're the same size, so obviously that's 50." Put it in his hand, and he looked at me in disbelief. Honestly, I don't see why he was so upset though. There was no one else on the bus.
Wow.
This is like the ziggest pre-game chat we've had, I feel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is strongly in character.
It's so shiny though, right?
I love it. No, it's a great movie, and thank you for sharing it with us.
I'm
Yes,
actually just pleased that you didn't have to wait outside for too long because it is not
Yeah.
the best of temperatures.
It's
right
not
now.
the best of temperatures currently.
Especially when
you're
you're
not
I was
playing
just glad
that.
I happened to have the car key in my
yeah,
car, so I
right?
could,
For
in my
Jesus.
pocket. So I just sat down in the car and was like, "Oh,
And you sat and thought, maybe I should learn to drive this.
yes,
Yeah.
soon I will be driving
Excellent.
my car." Beep beep ba la 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 bap boop. That's a horrible song. I hate that song.
I don't know what that was.
I like driving in my car. Beep beep meh meh wah wah wah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
It's not quite
yeah,
urgent.
here we are. I think that's us for a pre-show. That's not bad. That's 25 minutes all in. It's all right.
Comedy gold.
That was limiting everyone to a minute. Did really well. Yeah. So
I apologise for the
imagine I
saga.
hadn't. Imagine.
I mean, honestly, I think
That was quite interesting
I
to hear,
don't
to be
know.
honest. Not that it was a good story in terms of it's a bit shit that happened to you, but I mean, it was still nice to know what's going on in your life, frankly.
Boiling Amazon-based rage. It's the usual.
I mean, I suppose it's in keeping with the jeans thing, since people used to have to sit in hot water with their jeans to get them to shrink fit. So, I mean, there's a connection
the
there,
dark
loosely.
days,
Yeah, it's the dark days of sitting in your clothes in the bath.
you would have to eat the jeans and regurgitate them.
To the right size, of course.
Yeah.
And colour.
Piece them to your
stomach,
legs.
They would, they would sort of reform.
God, that's horrible. Anyway, welcome to
Well-
session 14. Oh,
Yay!
I don't know if I said it on recording yet, but again, Calum, happy Victor.
Happy Triumph Day.
Happy Triumph Day, yes.
Happy Triumph Day.
Happy Triumph Day, you too.
For those who don't know, this is the day, however many years ago, that me and Ryan first met.
Yeah, back in the day.
Happy Triumph Day.
I didn't know, but using my staggering intellect, I pieced it together.
Context clues.
Yes.
So,
Mm.
Textual sense.
moving swiftly on.
Yes.
Swanwards.
Yes.
Swiftly.
Swanwars just seems really violent, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to proceed, but violently. Okay,
We have 25 minutes remaining.
who remembers what of the pregame? Just another.
I meant before the ship gets destroyed, but
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
like, the pregame
crap.
counts, so it's only 5 minutes remaining now. So
okay.
yeah, that was just all in character, and like SK's just staring around like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?
What the?
Who ordered jeans?"
I remember very much that she was having nanny it
Oh,
because
She was unimpressed.
uninspired, Preston. Yeah.
Yes.
she pressed her inspiration and it was on.
Indeed. Everybody should be moved to action, and also
I'm moved. Yes.
I feel moved.
there's a difference between moved and
I
touched.
am.
Just so she's know.
Well,
I am moved and touched.
between
Okay, so we're back in the game. Who remembers what happened last with time?
honest.
With to time.
Wesland did his puppet master tricks.
Yes.
You're trying to imply that Emmelyn is not in full control of her faculties.
Would I ever?
I don't know, actually. that's what I
Sure,
was asking.
why not?
She was smoking. I mean, that's got to count for something, right?
Filthy.
I
filthy
smoke-
cat.
Yeah, I was going
I
to say.
smoke all the time.
Yeah,
not-
you're never in control of your faculties.
Also, those listening at home, especially all the people that Olka's going to get to subscribe, this is not something we support in general. It's
Dude,
Smoking's bad for your health.
yes.
But man, do you look badass when you do it.
I mean, Emmelyn is the coolest looking person in the team, I think.
Yeah.
I liked how everyone went,
I feel like she's probably the only one that actually cares about how she looks.
Tries to look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
I
have
feel
you
like
know,
Lyko
Zigg
would
grooms
do
every
a
day.
Giles there, and I'd like to test that theory.
But then forget
Oh,
about
yeah.
it 5 minutes later and do something else.
What's this trickery camouflage, Ryan?
What, sorry?
This camouflage.
What? This? Yeah,
This
it
is just like blending.
looks
itself
better,
in,
doesn't it? It does look better.
Camouflage.
I mean, if you
You're
want, I can do the same to you, Zora, just so that you blend in as well. Let's, there you go, Pip.
Oh,
No one will ever know.
Stealth mode.
I'm trying to go to the centre.
Where did he go? Where did he go?
Where do we go?
Secret
I-
alien.
I can. What? Secretly? Like.
I mean, I'm actually going to be a chameleon eventually. Like,
I actually thought you said secretly you're an alien, and I went secretly.
a
I
chameleon.
will point you to the correct biological augmentation.
Oh,
There is one.
there is indeed, yeah. But anyway, so last week, what did you remember?
We had chat with SK. She was
We had
not
a
a
lot
nice
of chat
person.
with Escape. She's a bitch.
She's a mother.
Also, having reviewed session 0, I feel so bad for Zigg. He has had a bad few days.
Yeah, right.
Like, I didn't realise, and he hasn't spoken about it in this setting yet. So,
Nope.
poor boy.
What did you
He's a
think?
poor
Just,
sad
let's just take a
child.
moment, shall we? And how did you find it? Did you enjoy it? I take it.
Distressing.
Yeah.
No, it was really good. Kind of yeah, I feel like there are higher stakes now.
Yeah,
Um,
you can see why I was like, it's
There
probably
are no stakes.
I will
They
put
have
the
been
world at
stolen.
stake.
And also, I really enjoyed the little descriptions of the other team members as well, dropped in throughout it.
Yeah,
I think there's particularly one about Emmelyn psychokinetically knocking her glasses down onto her face that I just want to see used more often. But yeah, no, it was those little, was it the flashbacks to him bothering the crew with his sun
Yeah.
facts?
yeah.
That's what he spent his
Yes.
his time away doing. It was adorable. I love Zigg.
As I said, it was really nice to be able to do that with Calum. To be honest, to actually share a bit more about the character for you guys as well, and also those who listen at home and abroad. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was fun. And as I said, it definitely adds more to the context of now you see where we ended session 12, and the flash into Zigg's eyes, session 0, back up to session 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So
know,
now,
the Radiant Supreme
very
now makes sense
anti-escape.
as well.
yeah.
Mm.
So
Did
I'm
you-
now standing firmly behind Zigg for his discipline against Zigg.
Standing in
Escape.
the way of control.
Did you enjoy the map work? Because God, that was a lot of work.
Oh
That
yes.
was, man. Oh,
I also enjoyed you advising him, as if he needed to be advised, that it wasn't a CR1.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, like
guards massacred every innocent person in front of him.
yeah,
To be fair, the power level of those innocent people was probably quite low.
yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, sure. But even still, no.
he was only a level 1 rat boy.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it was like a level 1.5. Who knows where he actually sat level-wise in that? Because
No,
there was like a let's de-level you from 2 halfway to 3 back to 1. What did you do? I've got these numbers. That'll do. So, like,
Don't fight, you're gonna die anyway. Was
the thing
kind
is, like, again,
the theme I
no,
got for it.
no numbers were fudged. Everything happened as it happened. It was just very cleverly you picked the right corridor to run down. That was all.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was one of those things where during the first part, I did a wander around the entire thing, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like a nice thing. Oh, a teleporty thing." Ooh,
It's why you were set to go meditate in that room first, so you could have a look at the upcoming battle map without it feeling like you could see the whole battle map. Yeah.
It was adorably inquisitive.
Yeah. But anyway, so back in the room,
back in the room.
I think we ended with Escape saying, "I knew the Radiant Supreme."
Oh shit! Yes, fuck. I hate this game. Oh.
Right, so Zigg quit. So who's going to be our 5th crew member, guys? Just going to hire Escape. I'll play. So.
I repeat my early sentiment. 25 minutes.
So, Zigg.
Well, I think honestly, Zigg would have no words. Like, just stand there, just eyes in complete disbelief, mouth agape, head kind of cocked to one side, and just. I know you can't see what I'm doing with my arms, but. What?
That's why audio is such a great format.
Yeah, it's actually quite good for RP because it helps kind of, or sorry, I say helps. It nudges you towards more vocal descriptions of things. So Emmelyn, while this is happening, you've got Escape saying and leaning into Zigg as if like reaching out for his hand, but not actually. Like she's got her hand in the middle of the table as she says, "I knew the Radiant Supreme," and that kind of almost attempt at bonding type vibe that she's got with Zigg. And obviously you see Zigg's reaction of, not necessarily quite there, I think, anymore. Like maybe the eyes are gone again. You hear Mr. Wesland. There's a kind of nudge at your shoulder again. And then there's that kind of feeling of the cool, icy vapour again as he exhales and goes, "Who's the Radiant Supreme?" Like as he kind of says to the room in general, but obviously you're the only person perceiving him, so.
So when she hears this voice, she doesn't turn around again.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the first time she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's that?" She went to turn. I think now she's not doing that anymore. Maybe like slightly to the side the voice is coming from.
Yeah, because like when he appeared the first time, it wasn't like he was there for the whole meeting. He just appeared when you got startled, and he's kind of been present for the rest of it. So
Yeah.
this is kind of him be like, "Who's the Radiant Supreme?" As if he's paying attention and he's in the meeting too.
I'm going to ask, who's the Radiant Supreme? Out loud.
Okay.
To the room.
The room shrugs.
The room does shrug.
But yeah, so
I think Zigg would kind of just look at her slightly, but I don't think he'd actually say anything because he's still kind of trying to process.
like what's like see
the
the look in his eyes,
possibility of.
the look in Zig's eyes. Have we got those kind of like what's going through Zig's mind? Like, can I share it with the kind of the body language angle of this? So if Eskate's saying it to you, are you upset? Because it depends how much you want to fixate on the terminology she used of "I knew the Radiant Supreme" and how much Zig would
Yeah.
focus on that if he was focusing on it.
I don't think he would focus on that. I think he would just have this, like, because he's already got this opinion of SK that she's essentially evil because she tried to basically fuck with his brain, and because the Radiant Supreme is just the quote unquote the idolized person.
It's also
that-
ironic given how much Zig just forces information into other people's brains. But yeah, sure, evil. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
it's
definition.
fine. He's a child, all right. But yeah, no, because he kind of idolizes the Radiant Supreme. So kind of having these two entities in the sort of same conversation is he's finding that really hard to believe and understand, and think like, how could this possibly actually even know anything about the Radiant Supreme, because it's so completely opposite to what he believes the Radiant Supreme is and stands for. And
Yeah, for everyone.
he's quite upset, actually. I think he's upset about just the fact that she would have the audacity to even...
For everyone that's followed the timeline thus far, here you go.
The coolest NPC.
He's awesome.
Slugman.
That's Radiant Supreme Slugman to you.
That's
Maybe
nice.
it's not.
The radiant one.
But yeah,
Most unsalty.
Weavy.
so yeah. So what does Emmelyn see when she's looking at Zig, kind of waiting for an answer? Like what is it like you could? What does your look convey to her?
I think basically all that. He's like, he looks at her as in he's acknowledged that she said something, and the words Radiant Supreme came out of her mouth, but it's like everything that's going on in the real world per se is kind of just dulled. Sort of, if you're like underwater, you can kind of make out like bits of words and stuff. So it's more just reacting to the noise as opposed to taking in any of the information that she's actually...
Sorry, I tried to mute myself there.
So yeah, like so we've got Emmelyn in the middle of asking Zig. Zig kind of in the middle of his own mind. Escape waiting for Zig to kind of become a person present in the conversation again. What are obviously Nyx? You're kind of still standing in front of two crossed blades. You've got Zora. Just like, is there any kind of captainy reactions at all? And what about you, Lyko? Like, what's happening with the rest of you?
Zora would probably just be kind of standing, awaiting reaction for Zig. It's like he
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
know whether
like the
it's-
reaction you've got so far is Zig, is just slowly turned, looked at Emmelyn, because Emmelyn addressed a question to him, or to the room, but like Radiant Supreme attracted Zig's attention, but Zig's just kind of looking, kind of lost. So your little medkit is just kind of staring almost, lost, I guess is the best word I've got for it.
Okay, so he's doing. Right, okay. Medkit. Just kind of wave my hand in front of him again. I'm going to deflect him again, aren't I?
It's up to you. Like, Zig, do you respond to a big lizard hand in front of your face?
I think it's kind of that, kind of in films where someone's been like dazed or slightly traumatized, and they're like walking around, and the world's kind of going on around them, and all the sounds sort of like muted,
Yeah.
and you can hear all the. It's that very sort of image if you're looking at it from Zigg's point of view.
Where is
Okay,
Zigg's mind then? What's your focus at this point? Like, what's in your head?
Um,
If you're not focused on
Currently,
this
I
place?
think he's going through like basically everything every time he's seen sort of the Radiant Supreme in the hall in front of the egg, which he doesn't know is an egg, but then that moment just before he goes up at graduation day. And that's kind of looping around. It's just kind of the image of the Radiant Supreme in the world kind of moving around the Radiant Supreme as opposed to like the events that
I've
are
got-
happening.
You know, in Ragnarok, when like Thor is struggling through most of the movie, and you just keep getting visions of Odin just standing there, like, "Oh,
Yes.
hello, son." That kind of.
Yeah.
I've got this image of the Radiant Supreme just kind of occasionally flashing into like the room, like where everything else is blurring out, and it's just him that you see.
Yeah, that's that sort of thing, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Zigg is again. I think the best phrase is lost for you, Zora. So you wave your hand in front of his face. He doesn't respond.
Got to flick him in the back of the head. Say medkit.
I think at that he'd probably at least come to reality and just look around the room, and kind of try and readjust to where he's doing and look really confused.
I'd just say, I'd be like, but I can understand that by your reaction, this isn't easy for you to say, but well, 25 minutes. Like, we go boom.
I don't think.
Well-
Do we know the time actually on that? Is that public knowledge? I don't think that is it?
Minutes and seconds.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what it
minutes and
says.
seconds.
Yeah.
Minutes and seconds is that's
That
what
was
I'll
indeed
say.
the exact phrase.
It's minutes and seconds. I'll say minutes and seconds.
I think
Although-
at that point in that case, Emmelyn would ask in the head, ask of next 5, like how long is left.
And as soon as you go to try and ask that, you hear "speak plainly."
Ah,
The draconic block back in place.
Good old draconic locks.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I think at this time, next 5 probably is dramatically checking his watch. Wiping his forehead for the fake sweat.
yeah. I think Zigg would look at SK and say, "How could you possibly know the Radiant Supreme?" Except in Zigg's voice, some more. How could you possibly know the Radiant Supreme? Which is basically the exact same voice, but
Vulnerable.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
More vulnerable, Calum. Yeah.
There is a vulnerability to Zigg. But yeah, she kind of like tilts her head, and that kind of wasn't really expecting that response. So she looks a bit kind of taken aback. She goes, and she kind of stops and kind of like smirks at the table a little bit, that way where like you're remembering fondly. And she leans back in the chair a little, and she says, "I was there when you joined the monastery." And you can see that like she's still kind of staring at the table as if remembering it for the first time again. A great phrase.
I don't think Zigg believes her. That's all.
You can roll a sense motive if you want.
Can I?
Yeah, of course you can. It's not actually next 5 that rolls the first check this week, unless he gets in there for it. No, never mind.
Who wants a 1?
Okay, sense motive. Where that? Is there, oh, my sense motive's a bit. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's very average.
It's our rule.
Yeah, like she seems completely genuine.
I think Zigg would kind of be battling this in his mind. And like, why would you even be at the monastery?
She kind of like her eyes kind of move from the table to you, and again she got a slightly confused look. Like, what do you mean?
Like you're not like you've no reason.
And she kind of smiles like quite warmly, and this is maybe the first time the weird clinical feeling you've had from her the whole time kind of isn't there. Like you have this again, reminiscent of when, oh god, what did we call her? Who was your, what type of bulb was she? Remember?
Oh,
I've
is there not a
I've got her
thing?
listed somewhere. Edzo 14.
Edzo.
Edzo 14. Yep. When Edzo 14 smiled at you, this is the same vibe you get, that kind of almost warmth, but it's very brief. It's like in a moment, and then that kind of clinicalness kind of like comes back, as if she's caught herself in the moment, like when somebody who's very straight-faced smirks and then quickly catches themselves. It's that type of idea. And she said, I was invited.
You're lying. You have to be lying.
I think you're
It's
just
not
lying to
true.
yourself at this point. I was like, because
Yes,
like,
yes.
like you have like no way
I know.
of.
I'm trying to.
But yeah,
I'm
like-
trying to.
No, it makes sense. Like the idea that you're like, no, this doesn't make sense to me. But why is she telling the truth?
Yeah,
Why do I
it
feel like
makes
she's
literally
being
no sense.
genuine, but at the same time, I feel like she shouldn't be? Yeah, it's good.
If I may, I think Lyko has recovered from his laughing fit and is listening intently.
Mm-hmm.
May
I think maybe you've done that
roll
thing where like
sense-
during this entire conversation, maybe you've actually like stood up, realised nobody else is actually laughing anymore, and you've kind of sat.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to roll sense motive because I think he is listening intently to the conversation, trying to figure out
To
who is
what?
in the right.
So what is it you're trying to sense then? What is the what's the outcome you're looking for?
I am, well, so Lyko thinks that Zigg is kind of having a bit of a breakdown and that his responses aren't reliable, and he is sort of listening closely to what she says to figure out, is she actually being deceitful, or is he just reacting this way because of other
Is he
reasons?
freaking out for the right reason, and or
Yes,
is
exactly.
she? So you pick the target you're sensing, because you can
I
sense
will
motive
be,
on
oh
him
yes, okay,
freaking
I will
out,
sense motive
or you
on,
can sense her for deception. So
I want to sense motive in her for deception, so I'm also sensing, so
yeah,
let's stick to the scheme established by Zigg.
lies.
Lie.
Okay, so I got a better roll.
Yeah, like I can't say you've ever felt someone's told you the truth more than she has. Like
Okay,
to the
so
point
I
where
see.
that means that it's like, no, here's what happens for Lyko. You've done your laughing fit, you've stood up, you've kind of looked around and maybe realised that people have stopped laughing, so you do that awkward thing of just adjusting back into the conversation. You kind of slouch back in the chair, start listening in, and then you see the distress Zigg's in. You look over the thing and go, okay, he's freaking out. What is she up to? Is she trying to freak him out? And then you choose to try and take in all of the body language through that whole process since you stopped laughing. Maybe even during the, like before she was laughing as well, or before you were laughing, sorry. You try and take in the scene that was this conversation, like putting together the whole picture of her, and then you sit, and at this point, based on her interactions or body language, like even the vibe of the room itself, the way people are reacting, like Zora not being weirdly on edge and things like that as well during the moments where Zigg has felt this warmth as I described, you get this really worrying feeling now, Lyko, that everything she said was right. And that all those things she said was a big problem. Like that whole, potential drow stealing an egg that could destroy the universe thing. All that now feels really, really real and worrying.
Okay.
So you've now kind of worked out going, oh fuck, this is real. And that's what you get.
What did I do with that? Okay, I think
Just gets up, leaves.
I
Escape
think he
pod into
doesn't
the cave wall.
even look at the party. I think he just sort of locks his eyes on hers and loudly announces, "Little guy, give her what she wants."
I think as soon as you are staring at her, because obviously she's fixed on Zigg. Zigg's kind of looking between Emmelyn, Space, and also Zora, and the Yusei little guy give her what she wants. That's when she kind of like tilts her head and looks at you and raises like an eyebrow, as if this is where she's internally sensing motive on you.
Yeah, I feel like that's something Lyko, being pretty perceptive, would notice, so he's just going to... Yeah... You're telling the truth. I don't like you, but you're not a liar.
And that look of, well, this is an interesting development, is definitely the look you've got from her face, because I don't think out of the allies she thought she might find between the crew, you are not the one she necessarily thought she would. And then she actually replies to you and she says, it's nice to see there's still a bit of the lawman in you. And she kind of like, very, very, maybe she just moved her head in an absent-minded way, but it looks like she nodded.
I break eye contact for a second at that, I think.
And then her eyes turn back to Zigg.
I think at that, Zigg would kind of look at Lyko, kind of
like, what the
sort
fuck,
of disheartedly. Like, come on, man, you're ruining my jam. But then, like, kind of like look to like each of the crew members to try and like gauge a somewhat opinion from them, like just
I like to believe
see
that
if they're
everyone's staring at Lyko, like, what the fuck? Like, everyone just, like, mouth agape.
It was a little out of character, I concede.
No, I like it. I think
But
it's
sometimes people do things that you wouldn't expect them to.
so, yeah, like, what's everybody else's reaction to that? Because you've got Zigg kind of looking like, almost, I imagine it's almost the look of, like, sudden betrayal.
Yeah, it's almost a very despairing look. Just kind of like, I wouldn't expect one of my friends to like kind of disregard me for this crazy horrible person who I don't like.
So, before I hear about what Zora thinks about this situation, Emmelyn hears Edgar be like...
Of course.
Kind of does that thing where he gestures towards Lyko with his like cigarette, and he's like leaning in, like behind him, like kind of looking at him, like from like ear to ear behind his seat. And I'm like, I knew I never liked this guy. He's clearly, and he kind of like waves vaguely at SK. He's like, he's clearly, and he's like doing that kind of line of sight thing from like Lyko's eye line towards SK. He's like, he's clearly fallen under some kind of spell. He's and you know, like, Edgar's just kind of pissed off that Lyko seems to trust her, if that makes sense. Like, she's clearly bullshitting, he's entranced. So yeah, you get a bit of bluster, in fact, from him. That's what you get. But it's kind of just like noise. If you decided to ignore him, that wouldn't be the worst thing, you know. But then it's up to you how much you want to take on board from Head Edgar. Hedgar.
Edgar.
Yeah. There we go. We've got his name, Hedgar.
Edgar.
Perfect.
Hesker.
Well, that's a lot.
What do you think about it, Zora?
I would ask Zigg, like, are you truly sure that she doesn't have anything to do with... I guess he would kind of like look up and think of the word, and you'd probably just be like, order. I mean, no offence, little one, but you're like 12 years old, how much can you know about your order's history?
I think Zigg would have that look, you know, when a child is about to kind of say something in retort and then realise he doesn't actually have any words that would...
Surely
that would
you
help
just
him in his
mind
case.
link with Zora in that perfect opening, right? And go, how much do I know about
See,
my
I
order?
was
I'm
thinking
glad you
about that.
asked! Mind link!
It's not as
I don't think I
because
can-
he knows a lot.
oh no, I didn't. Oh, sorry, I thought I already mind linked with Zora.
No, not
I
yet.
did not. So technically I could.
I just love
Um,
that, being like, I'm glad you asked about the sun. Grab.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the...
I think in any
thematically
normal
yeah.
situation he would be more than happy, but he's kind of in this sort of mood.
Yeah, and he's been somewhat betrayed, air quote.
Yes.
Yeah, he must feel pretty unmoored in this conversation by now.
He's very he does actually he feels like a child. which he doesn't normally, even though he kind of is. But he feels like he is a child, and
But there's that like weight of responsibility and expectation from people, and also like the kid vibe of what is it I'm actually supposed to do here. Also, I don't really feel comfortable in this situation. Who are you people? And then slowly, like people you're familiar with start siding against you, and you're like, what? Yeah, no, it's definitely a worrying period of time. But yeah, Emmelyn, Zora, Emmelyn.
Silence.
I would ask Nix, but I feel like Nix has just been staring at the clock the entire time. Unless there's been more that you've taken in, Nix.
I think Nix is fairly fast following, even if he's socially inept. So I think he's still staring at the clock, and kind of without taking his eyes off it, probably just ask Zigg, who are you trying to protect?
What I love is like Nix isn't even looking at you, like it's just looking at his watch.
So
who are you trying to protect?
I feel like he takes this as if he's getting sort of. He feels like he's done something horribly wrong, but he knows in his head that he hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Even though he's,
You feel like you're being told off, but you've not done anything to be told off for, but you still,
And he
I know
feels just
Nix doesn't
really
intend it that way, but
Yeah.
he's just inept.
I think at that he'd kind of like look at the floor and be like, I don't. And he'd just be looking at the floor as like a lost child, trying to like hold back tears.
And if nobody says anything immediately, escape will. So I'm gonna leave maybe a 5-second pause for MD that feels the need to fill that 5 seconds. Anyone?
Yeah, I'm gonna fill the 5 seconds. Yeah. I am actually.
Sorry.
Carry on, Emmelyn.
I'm gonna turn to escape and I'm gonna say, like, who do you think you are coming up here, attacking us, and interrogating our friend? What do you want from us?
And she does, like, she turns to you. And she looks at you, and again, it's the thing I described last time about the way when Zora was looked at. You feel uncomfortable when she, like, her attention's on you. It's that, again, I think the last time I described it's when you drop something on a loud floor just as everyone goes quiet. So it's that feeling of, oh god, everyone's watching. This is cringe. But you get that from the weird atmosphere of the room. Even though nothing's changed other than she's turned round to look at you. And like her eyes narrow and her face is a bit colder than it was when she was looking at Zigg. And then she's kind of looking at you, and then she's kind of like looking past you, and then looking back at you, as if looking beyond you. And then she goes, I haven't come for anything from you. I've made my... And she stops and thinks about the word and says, demand. Quite clear. That little one over there, and she kind of like points across the table to Zigg. He has information I need to do my job. Just like I'm sure there would be very little that would stop. And she kind of gestures to the crew. You all from completing any assigned task. Morally or otherwise. And she kind of like leaves that hanging for like a half-second longer than MD normally would. And then she looks at you again directly and goes, so, as for what gives me the right to do this, I can do it thus. And just leaves it at that. And just stares at you as if, like, know that when you're posturing and you're waiting for someone to like rise to the challenge? It's definitely tense and frictiony. So
Yeah, I think I'm angry. I'm not enjoying.
I think
any
you can
of
see
this.
as well, because you're quite good at sensing people's motive as well. Like, you can see as well, like, you know, if she gave out any kind of visible signs, like, if something was about to happen, she's obviously adjusted her posture just enough that she was in a slightly more advantageous position, if that makes sense. So yeah, she was expecting for if this escalated, she'd be ready for it.
Yeah.
And she is kind of almost doing that kind of, I'm going to howl at the moon and wait to see if you try and howl louder.
Yeah. I think she's very frustrated.
It is indeed escalated. That's not a bad session title, yeah.
Oh God.
Well, that
Sorry.
could have been such a good session 12 title, but yeah.
I'm pissed off and I'm stressed that I'm not saying any of this, but like
Yeah, no, like, yeah, it's,
Emmelyn's pissed off and she's stressed because she knows there's this timer going on as well, and that SK just ignored entirely, and our friend Zigg is looking very upset and stressed and about to cry, and it's not fun at all. And I think what she will do is she will smash a plate or a mug or something that's in the mess hall, just with her mind.
yeah, so just like
Like,
kind of like
throw it.
psychokinetic hand, just smash something off a cupboard or something like that, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like maybe just behind Lyko, let's say all the stuff stacked behind Lyko. Like maybe you're not expecting this Lyko, but right behind you there's just like a smashing of a plate on the floor.
Yeah. It's just it's almost like a temper tantrum because she knows she can't do anything because as you say, Escape looks like ready.
I feel
for
like for the sci-fi meet it would be a clattering because it would be like a metal plate or something, I feel, but at the same time it's not as dramatic, so yeah, I feel like it has to be like porcelain, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a plate gets smashed off the ground. Maybe this startles everyone, but like she doesn't even flinch. She's still kind of just staring at you, waiting on the rise, if that makes sense, even though this is your kind of venting of,
Yeah. I think she will hold her gaze for a moment and then look away at the floor, just angry.
Yeah, makes sense.
Strength. Sigh. I'll clean it up later. I think Nick's fire will probably perk. I was going to say perk up, but he's still staring at his watch. And just says, strength is a poor grounds for claiming authority. Ultimately, it can lead to nobody getting what they want.
And Escate kind of turns round and that kind of back to the wall, kind of taking in the room again, so she can kind of keep everyone in visual. And she says, and she kind of like she stares at you for like maybe again a second during that weird silence, tensiony scene that's going on. And then I don't even actually think she said anything to you, to be honest. I think she just kind of stares at you, and obviously you're staring at the watch. And then maybe that's like her remembering there is a air quote time limit. And she just sits back down on the seat and then stares at the group and goes, motivationally speaking, do you care? And she kind of just gestures to the room. Like she then like puts one like foot up on the table, in the sense that like you've got like the heel of the boot just on the edge of the table.
Do we care about what?
She just gestures vaguely. I don't know. Anything. Your own well-being, your health, their health, the ship, me, the life, universe, kind of shrugs. Just names like escalating things, if you will.
I'm certainly no nihilist.
She slowly like kind of nods, and then kind of like waits on everybody else responding to the question.
Of course, there's things we care about. Everybody cares about something.
She kind of like her eyes
Don't be
narrow
so
a little
vague,
bit at you.
Get to the point.
I've been quite direct, and she's speaking directly to you, obviously, Zora. And again, as she says the word direct, like that weird shiver, again, as if you're being watched. It's not even watched. Judged is the term I mean, right? Like judged, as if you're being judged. That's the
That's
terminal.
fine. I get judged all the
Yeah.
time. I probably get judged every time I get looked at by anybody.
But this is the
Like,
equivalent of, you know, you want to do well and someone's assessing you, and if you fuck it up, it's like it matters to you. No, that's what I mean by judged.
Right.
So when you feel judged, I don't mean it's like
Okay.
in a normal circumstance people would feel judged, but you don't care. This is you feel judged, which again is maybe more uncomfortable for the fact that you wouldn't normally feel that, right? And
Yeah.
that's the focal kind of thing she's got going on, and yeah. So she says, I've been very direct, and she says, he has knowledge that I would. Well, let's just.
Specifically, would you like to know?
And she kind of looks straight at Zigg. He knows. And she waits for Zigg to respond.
As you can see, the boys clearly under pressure.
The boy, as you put it, is far more capable than. Well, and she kind of turns to the rest of you. He held me off. Yours didn't.
I would snigger because I know he's very.
Yeah. This is
Like,
beloved medkit they're speaking of, yeah.
This is beloved medkit. Like,
There are a lot of things a person can be capable of.
And she like smirks at you, and it's probably really uncomfortable because there's like no weird atmosphere change. She just genuinely kind of smirks at you, and I mean, a smart man might think maybe that's because you seemed to back her up.
Are we to assume from your posturing that you're claiming some sort of moral authority?
Moral? No. Regardless, I'm going to do what I want to do. However, it would be much simpler if you would work with me. As I said, morally speaking, you don't seem to care much. However, money seems to motivate you. Danger and threat does not. Would I be wrong?
If you knew that, then you wouldn't have come in here swinging swords.
I don't need yous, I only need him.
How's that going for you?
I mean, I decided to keep yous alive, didn't I? How's it going for you?
I'll
She-
tell you in
she-
about 20 minutes.
Like, she's staring at your
It would
stomach
just-
at that point. For you, Nix, if you're even looking at her.
No.
Yeah.
I
Eye
think
contact is-
Zigg would like slam his hand on the table and just look up at SK and be, oh, why? Why do you need to know?
She turns round.
He's got a very sort of like driven look. He's just staring at her. He's kind of like gone beyond sort of breaking point, and he's just like not happy.
I would say your meat is in the middle.
She kind of like gestures like vaguely to the room with both hands. Like, we are talking. This is the middle. Neither side are shooting. And she smirks at you because obviously you missed her. Yeah, and she goes,
Get her back for that one.
I mean, no doubt, yeah.
One day.
So she says, I intend to achieve the goals I have been tasked with by my superiors. I can't say I particularly approve of your superiors. And she kind of like just kind of draws her eyes off of Emmelyn briefly, and then she looks back at you, Zora, and she says, I'm willing to motivate you with money if it expedites my tasks. I have to recover both these missing artifacts. I would very much like to capture the Drow faction queen that has caused this current problem, and I would very much like to return the Radiant Supreme alive. And she stares at Zigg, and she says that last part.
I think
Ten
like,
is sick also.
visibly like shivers, like all his hairs are kind of standing on end.
Decision's yours. I would look at Zigg. Because
I think
Dun,
he'd
dun,
probably
dun,
start to
dun,
glow
dun,
a
dun.
little bit there. Ding 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 ding. Blonk blonk. I think he'd start to glow a little bit because, I mean, he can.
Yeah. I mean, when one can, one should.
That's
When one
fair
can,
reason.
one does. Yeah, but he's very kind of like, I think he'd just say, and what right do you have
She looks like kind of confused as you start saying that.
Yeah.
What was it?
To acquire the artifact of the sun.
Return
His eyes would narrow
the
slightly.
artifact. She corrects you.
I think Zigg would kind of climb up onto the table and like just take like a step towards her.
Mhm.
And just kind of look her in the eye. Oh, thank you.
Mhm. So yeah. Just to get up towards her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's already corrected you, so
Yeah, I know.
that's her reply.
And
She kind of looks at you, and,
Nice.
like, if you don't like respond, if you're kind of like just standing there, almost like, you know, puffed up your chest.
yeah.
Like she then is kind of like staring at you, because she's kind of slouched back in the chair to kind of, you know, relatively meet your eyes, and she says, "Yes, return the solar artifact to its rightful guardian, the Radiant Supreme, assuming he still lives, and recovering
Oops, sorry.
the." And then she kind of like pauses a little and goes, "The void artifact, so it cannot pose a threat. This is my task, apprehending the instigator of this and also recovering the caretaker of the solar artifact are bonus objectives. You seem to care more than them." And
I think he would.
she also
sorry.
like she just keeps talking over you anyway. Like she goes,
Yeah. But no, he kind of mumbles under his breath. Just kind of, he is still alive. And
yeah, and like as you're kind of mumbling like you're still alive, and she goes, "You seem to care more than them, and more importantly, you were there. Anything you've seen, witnessed, felt, heard, I need that information."
And I think he would just kind of not shout, but say quite loudly, "He's still alive!" and like grab her face and mind link.
Yeah, roll a will save, or whatever it's called in this one.
Will save, yes.
Yeah.
Save will.
Yeah. Roll a d4 for me. Cool. Take 4 fire damage.
Ow!
As you grab at her, you start pushing through like what feels like physical resistance in the air, and as soon as you make contact, I'm assuming you're mind linking.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So you mind like what are you sending?
Everything. And it's not like everything, but I mean everything from like every memory of the temple, everything, including graduation day, but
So, like,
everything
all-
from day one,
All
from
of your
being dropped
monastery.
off,
Yeah.
everything.
Basically, monastery.exe. Yeah.
Monastery.exe, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So you kind of send everything over. And like you can feel like this kind of white light kind of burning your hand as like you send it over, and that's where you take the kind of the damage from. The damage goes straight to your HP, by the way. It doesn't. Touch
Oh, does it go
your-
straight to HP?
Yeah,
That's
it doesn't
fine.
even touch your stamina.
What's that minus that? Oh, what did you say, 4?
Yeah.
I could have just looked at the rolls.
You could have, yeah, but that's fine. And yeah, and I think at this point, like as we see this kind of dramatic thing unfold in the kind of like flash of white light, Emmelyn, wonderful, quiet, harmless, innocent Emmelyn. Yes, I like your response sometimes. Just Hedger grabs you quite like forcefully. He's like, "We should learn everything he just taught her." And then he kind of leans over like as if he's got his arm around you, and he's leaning in, and he's got like the cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and then he's kind of like almost in that kind of, you know, conspiratorial we're in the same gang type thing. It's like we should learn everything that he's just told her. He's And he kind of like pauses, goes, I feel we've underestimated him. Kind of nods, and then like maybe when you turn around to look at him, he's not there. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when you go to like address the fact that he's like weirdly clinging onto you, he's gone. But that was very much a. You've never felt him sound needy, if that makes sense. But this was very much a. This is very interesting. What could this be about? We don't know what this is about. And I mean, maybe it's difficult to kind of like separate how much of that's what Emmelyn is like. What is this about? What is going on? Why is this important? Versus Hedger's agenda, or head agenda.
Can I sense
Hey,
motive on myself?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Should I do that?
What are you trying to learn?
How much of that is
Is you?
Edgar?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much of that is me?
Yeah,
basically?
that's a good one. Yeah. Roll your sense motive. And then once you've rolled that, I want you to then roll bluff for how much
Okay.
you're actually lying to yourself.
Yeah.
How does expertise work with that one?
Did we reprogram it all?
Yep.
Yeah, so it doesn't roll my expertise die. I
Uh,
have to roll that separately.
well-
for my
Do you need to do that before or after there's a next part? Because I'll let you decide now what one you want to put it on, if that's how it works. I'm still a bit vague on that personally, but yeah. So, at this point in time, is this when you can choose to add it or not? Is that how it
No,
works?
so well, yes, so I can decide now, but if I don't add it, I can roll my bluff and then decide if I want to roll the die.
Okay, so you can
The
roll it
expertise die?
whenever, like
Yeah.
knowing the results, basically.
Yes, I can.
And what's the downside to waiting? If that makes sense, is there one?
Not that I can tell, no.
Because isn't there something you had to not add automatically?
Well, it's basically you either get to add your expertise die or you get to re-roll the roll.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So, do you want to keep your reroll in your back pocket for the sense motive? I guess is that how it works? So do you need to choose
No,
to
so
reroll now?
no. So the rerolls for the bluff.
Is it
Yeah,
only
yeah.
for bluff? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And can you pick the better, or can you pick full stop for the reroll? How's it worded? Because does it say take the better of the two, or does it say pick?
Well, tell you what I'll do.
Right. So when you attempt bluff check, you can choose not to roll your expertise until later. After you determine what the check's result would be, you can choose either reroll expertise die and add the result to total, or forgo the expertise die and reroll the check. Okay, so this only really affects your bluff then, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so just roll bluff, because either way we need to roll bluff, right?
Yeah.
You use your re-rolled result only if it is better than your original result.
That is perfect. I love it so much.
Ah,
That's so perfect.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Well then,
That's fine.
would you like to reroll or add an expertise die?
I've just found a rule that says you only accept the re-roll if it's better.
Interesting.
Oh.
Where's that written?
That's on page 243.
Okay.
Yeah, it does say see page 243 for that. I'm almost tempted to just keep it like this.
Are you able to, if you've got Convincing Liar, do you get the choice to not add your expertise die? Or is that a
it's a
thing?
choice.
Like, what's the wording on it?
You can
So-
choose not to roll your expertise die until later.
Because that to me sounds like you have to roll the expertise die.
Well, no, because under the expertise section it says you can roll 1d6 and add the result.
That's fine, so long as it says that. Like,
It's
not
optional.
as long as it's optional, that's fine. Because I'll be honest, that is way more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally the
Perfect.
better narrative result. Thank you, the dice gods, again. So yeah, like I think, why don't you tell us what happens in Emmelyn's like head? You want to describe those results to us in the story?
No.
So you turn around, Edgar's
don't-
gone.
Yeah. I think she's having like a mini existential crisis. Like almost like, who am I? Which part of me is me anymore? Do I actually want to know all that, or do I trust Zigg to tell me in his own time? Do I, or not to not tell me? Like, she's almost arguing with herself.
There's
I
also the
suppose.
angle as well where it's do I want to start doubting Hedger, right? Because
Yeah,
that's like, am I doubting myself then? Like, that wasn't the point of having him. That, like, the point was to get answers, not more questions. So yeah, it's a good role. I'll be honest, I love it. It's great.
yeah. Fucking hell! What are the chances?
I know, right? It's so good.
With all my
We
bonuses.
can
as well.
calculate those.
I was about to say,
Okay.
let me spreadsheet this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's so good. But anyway, yeah. So Emmelyn goes thoughtful for a moment. What's the status of the rest of the room in that kind of moment of a flash of light and Zigg grabbing her face?
And he's going claws first. I should have mentioned this, but it's claws first. This is the most aggressive mind link ever.
Okay.
Um,
yeah.
I would definitely
Standing
be
up
startled.
somewhat startled and sort of almost preparing for action, should it?
Do you
I'm
want
not quite
to
sure
roll
exactly
an unarmed
what-
attack, Zigg?
Sure.
I mean, if you're describing it aggressively, I mean, I feel like
It's
that's
aggressive. I mean, he's not like actively looking to kill the lady, but he's in such a bad mood. It's kind of like, you know, when you just throw a tantrum and you just kind
what I
of
love is, see,
flail
whenever
aimlessly.
you're gonna start getting edgy at this part where I'm you know what time it is during the session. I ask certain questions and you sit and go, oh, it's gonna happen. Yeah, not that I'm saying we're nearly at the break, but yeah. So yeah, roll that unarmed attack.
Ah, no, I didn't. I'm thinking my unarmed strike doesn't matter. I'll just roll a d20.
And then God knows what you're adding to that.
A -1. If I just put a -1 at it, will it just do it?
Who knows?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's not better than her KAC. So
No,
yeah, I feel
that's fine.
like
It still looks really aggressive.
Oh yeah, like you go in, claws first. As I said, you kind of hit this weird like white barrier, etc. Yeah, that's fine. I was just wondering if you could manage to leave some really interesting claw marks on her face.
What,
that was
like
all.
yeah.
Like an escape will remember this type thing in the corner, you know. But yeah,
Maybe
so
she'll still remember it.
well, I mean, you've just given her a whole bunch of stuff to think about. So I mean, this is the equivalent of when a court case asks for the evidence to be provided, and then you just give everything ever over.
Yeah, it's including, you know, like like that occasional lunch by yourself in the corner, and
Yeah, like if anything, she probably knows you the
Taking
best out of
discovery
everyone.
very literally.
yeah, she knows me more than everyone else. She probably knows me better than I do.
Yeah, that's quite sad actually that you tried to attack your closest friend. But yeah, right. So, Lyko, what was you doing? Because you started speaking before he tried to claw her.
Yeah, as this lurching and what was like a flash or
So the briefest as he leans in to grab her, because maybe your instinct is that A, he's lost it and he's about to claw her face, or you know he's going to mind link because you've been through that not too long ago with him. Mere like what, an hour maybe ago.
yes, I'm
if
not
that-
entirely sure what he's thinking. I don't think he's entirely sure.
Plus, it was a bit more aggressive than just I will touch you and then you will get all the memories. That this was I have leaped at you with my claws and actually rolled an attack roll.
In fact, he's completely uncertain about everything, but he just knows something's happening and sort of instinctively reacts like before he's even thinking like what am I actually going to do.
Yeah.
So he just sort of, I'm imagining him sort of getting up quick enough to knock over the canteen table, not table, chair. The table would be difficult.
It is bolted down, but it'd be impressive.
And just sort of freezing in an action stance, going, wait, what am I actually doing?
Yeah, that kind of okay. I'm standing, but what was the plan? Yeah. Okay, Zora.
Yeah.
He would just be kind of. Well, I don't know. I mean, he's never experienced the mind link before. I guess.
Ever?
But you kind of just be like, I don't know. Probably, maybe at some point. Maybe he's done it at some point. Maybe in the past.
Be interesting if you hadn't, if you were the one person that hadn't. But you can decide that in the narrative.
I'm fairly sure it's probably happened. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find that out later. But he'll probably just be like raising his ocular ridge, just in expectation of like what's the hell's going on here.
Yeah, what's part 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be a bit meta there, but yeah. Okay, next. I mean, I imagine this has been enough to draw the attention off your watch briefly.
It has. I'm just trying to do the maths to figure out whether she'd be too distracted for me to.
Well, you can't get
dip
past
under the
the.
sword.
Well, you can't get past the swords. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like they are positioned in a way that either way you'd have to graze against them.
Sounds worth it.
Please do.
I could activate my energy shield and go for it.
My energy shield.
Sure.
We're getting tight for time.
I mean, you play your character. I will take this one moment just for the audience at home, just to remind them when Zigg took damage, it went straight to his HP.
Oh yeah.
And then, just for the audience at home, no, that's not for you. It's not for you, Alex. It's just for those at home. And then-
I'm also mindful of how she could eviscerate me.
I mean, it's up to you. If you would do that to go and deal with your own self-developed problems, that's completely kosher.
My self-developed solutions are.
You've got a still somewhere? What?
No, I'm probably more concerned about Zigg at this point.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have a big stick to like disconnect the short circuit that seems to be going on.
Okay, and that kind of and this kind of weird almost freeze frame, right? So I think what I quite like is the slightly slow-mo. As soon as Zigg stands on the table, she looks up and delivers her last piece of dialogue. Zigg maybe glows brightly, because I think that's cooler if you start glowing.
Yeah.
You kind of lurch at her with your hand out, and maybe like nobody's meant to really know. It's all in that kind of cool cinematic slow-mo of, you leeching. Yeah, that'll do. Leeching for her.
Leeching.
We've got Lyko. As soon as you've like instantly moved, Lyko's like stumbled back off the chair and stood up. But again, slow-mo. You've got the kind of reaction from Zora of just the eyebrow going up. You've got Emmelyn kind of just like looking a bit confused and annoyed at herself. You've got Nyx kind of turning, the LEDs kind of glinting with the white flash as it happens in the reflection of his eyes. And then we have for again the audience at home, flashes of the entire montage of everything that Zigg has described, from everything he's experienced from like being handed to the monastery all the way up to graduation day and leaving. Does it include everything that you went on during the pilgrimage, or just the monastery specifically, Zigg?
Just monastery stuff,
Yep.
so none of the stuff, anything to do with the crew is completely omitted.
Even though you technically mind linked the crew stuff in the monastery.
Ah, yeah, but does a mind link work within a mind link? Now, this is what we need to...
It depends. How much would you
thi-
share? Because if you shared everything that happens in the monastery, you shared that in the monastery, so you'd be sharing that, if that makes sense. So do you want that to pass on, or are you keeping that separate? Is just the only question I'm asking.
I think I'd keep that separate then.
Cool, that's fine. I'm happy for you to do that. So yeah, you give her everything but crew info, essentially.
Yeah.
From the monastery time, etc.
Info.
And then, yeah, so that kind of flash kind of goes in her eyes. So it's almost like the reverse of what happened with you at the end of 12, where we get the flash of you going through graduation day. Now we've got the flash of her catching up on everything you've been through. Like, she just went and watched the YouTube video. And then, yeah. I think with the kind of the burning, you then get kind of like knocked back a bit, either at the edge of the table or you fall onto the chair or like whatever. I don't really care. You can choose how far back you stagger, but you get staggered
I'll
back from-
happily fall on the floor.
yeah, because like you take like obviously your hand is burning white from that brief second, which is strange because it's like a whiter color than your kind of yellowish orangey glow that you've got. Cause it's kind of yellowish, kind of. I don't know. I see it as yellowy white, but you describe your character obviously. Your glow.
It's kind of like a yellow that's gone like it's been sun bleached essentially.
Like post-it note
Um,
yellow.
Yeah, yeah, but kind of more washed out. A washed out post-it note.
There you go. So the washed out post-it note glow of Zigg Zora. And then you've got this brilliant white light that burnt your hand. As like the flames interact with each other. And you kind of stagger backwards. And then she does that thing where like she stands up, the chair gets knocked over as well, her back goes up against the wall. Her eyes stop glowing white. And she kind of just looks... like, overwhelmed would be an understatement, let's face it, when you've just been sent that much information. Like, sending this information to her was quite an effort, as you can tell, because you get the impression after that moment of, oh god, my hand is burning. It was you that burnt your hand, with the effort it needed to push the information to her. It was more to do with the fact that her... when you connect with someone, you make a physical connection.
Yes.
With her, it seemed like there were many things in the way of you being able to do that. So you had to push a lot more energy to send the message. So it's a bit like, you know, when we send people to the moon and we put them on top of lots of liters of explosive material. It's like that to send this to her. I know, Colin, the descriptions, I know.
It was glorious.
Yeah, thank you. But that's... you realise you did that to you? That wasn't her. Hence the brilliant white, as opposed to the slightly yellowish. So maybe that's kind of something to think on. And she kind of like, as the glow kind of dissipates from her eyes, and she looks over and goes, "I'll be in touch." And she flickers out, and that's that word echo after image. She's gone.
I telekinetic projectile one of the broken plates at where she was.
Yeah, you smash a plate at the wall. Yeah. And we'll take a break there. With her echoing away. As I said, the plate smashes into like the after image. Like
Yeah.
it fades to white and eventually goes away.
Some sound effects.
Yeah, we'll come back. 5 past, everybody.
5 past.
Thanks everybody for listening so far. Stay tuned for part 2.
5.
Bye.